Hello, everybody. My name is Mackenzie Haynes. I'm the Director of Career Services at Midway University, and I am very excited to be joined today with one of our alum who reached out and answered the call. We asked, alum, where are you at? What are you doing? Can you help our newest grads? And we have one of our graduates here who has answered the call and decided to join me today for a quick interview. This interview is going to be especially important for any of you all who are thinking about transitioning to a new or different industry than where you thought you were going to be to begin with. So, very excitedly, I am going to hand it over to you. Please, Brittany, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
Well, my name is Brittany. I went to Midway and I started in the fall of 2008, traditionally just kind of leaving high school and went straight to college, moving out of state to go to Midway. And I finished in December of 2011, a little bit early, with my bachelor's in equine science with a concentration in management.
Awesome. Very cool. So have you enrolled in any other schools since then?
A lot, actually. I went back to school at the University of Cincinnati in 2015 and earned 2 degrees in chemistry and biology, which led me to my current position and a promotion since I started there also. And now I'm working on my MBA partially funded through my work. So I'm doing
awesome.
a lot.
Yeah. And that's a great perk, definitely, to have a workplace that supports you continuing your education and helping fund it in a little bit of ways.
Yes, it's very helpful.
That's awesome. Okay, so you started in equine management with us. You went back and you got some additional degrees, and you're in a different industry. You're not working in the equine industry right now. Tell us a little bit about what you do and what your company does.
So I work for a company called Cool Off Solutions. We are primarily a road construction agency or company. We own subsidiaries all across the United States, and we're part of a larger conglomerate that's mostly based in France. So we're just kind of a part of a much larger company. So we have places all over, a lot of Ohio, Virginia, so Eastern, also in California, and then more in the Midwest too. So there's a lot of different places. It's very like decentralized type of company, which is kind of nice because you have a lot of autonomy, over what you're doing and your day-to-day, like how you do things. So it's pretty interesting, I guess. Where I started in the company was right after I got my 2 degrees in chemistry and biology. I started in our centralized lab. So we did like asphalt performance testing for all of our subsidiaries to assist them in jobs that they were doing. So that was all brand new, but because of the science and the lab background, they were like, it'll work. We can teach you all the specifics, but you've got the right mentality. And since then, I've been promoted to an asphalt data analyst. So I work in our liquid asphalt supply division, doing a variety of things from managing our leased railcar fleet to make sure what we purchase gets to where we need to store it and sell it, essentially. And then also a lot of like collecting information like financials and inventory at the end of the month. And then various other projects throughout the month that rely on me either getting current data or looking up historical data. So very, very different from where I started, over 10 years ago, but it's still interesting. You continue to learn and grow as your life changes.
Definitely. And I think, that's one of our big mottos, at University or at Midway University is really focusing on that lifelong learning. And it definitely seems that you are right there with those values and continuing that. Can you tell me a little bit about, since you're in an industry that's completely different than your first degree that you got with us, what were some of those transferable skills and the things that you learned as a Midway student that helped you as you transitioned to those next degrees and to this new different career field?
Right. There's a lot of things that I, learned at Midway. And I think a big part of the experience was because of where it was located. I got to be in so many different areas within the horse industry or equine industry. I worked for a racing barn at Keeneland. I worked at an eventing barn, a broodmare, and then a hunter jumper farm where I ended up being full-time after I graduated. And it's kind of like I could take what I learned in the classroom, but it would only go so far. And you had to be willing to learn and adapt as you went as well, because how they take care of their horses at a racing barn is not how they take care of their horses at, a hunter jumper barn. There might be principles like how to dress a wound. It's all the same generally, but you have to learn to be adaptable. And I think that was what was really the takeaway key, is that regardless of where you are, you might just need to adapt as you go. Even if you have this strong base of knowledge, you can always expand and change it to fit your specific needs.
Definitely. So definitely adaptability seems like it's been one of the big lessons that you've learned and continue to go forward. That's awesome. What are some of the things that you think you learned getting up all those early mornings, going to the barn, that's helping you be successful now?
I think a lot of it is just you have to get yourself prepared for the next day as you go. You can't, if you have a horse show that morning, you can't wait to pack your gear the morning of. Unless you really like rushing and like being stressed out for no reason, you could do that. That's fine. But there's a lot of like mental processing and coordination and organization within yourself that you create for yourself, and then that expands out into what you do in life. And I think that was also a really important thing. You kind of had to do it for yourself, and then it just kind of extends out, into further areas.
Yeah, I think that's a great lesson, learning those, okay, if I set myself up to succeed, it's more likely to happen.
Right.
So planning ahead and preparing. And I like how you talk about how you had that in your personal life and started to go into the work life at the barns. And now that's sounds like with all of the data and all of the financials that you're doing, it sounds like you've got to pre-prepare for a lot of those things before you're actually ready to do those tasks.
Right. Yeah, it definitely comes in handy every day.
I bet. Okay, what other transferable skills do you think you earned from your time in the equine industry?
Man, I feel like I maybe touched on that a good bit. It's just the willingness to learn, the willingness to be adaptable to different situations is just going to carry you much further than if you feel a little rigid and you're like, well, I learned it this way, this is the way I have to do it. That's fine if you own the place, or you are at large and in charge. Like, that's fine, and that's perfectly well if you're able to do that. But if you're coming into somebody else's operation as an assistant, or even just new to an organization that has established practices, it's important to just be willing to come in and say, well, how do you do it? And maybe, find a way to either adapt or to merge both ideas together. You're not going to get very far by telling people, well, this is the way it's done. It just doesn't. So just having that willingness to continue to change and work things out is probably the biggest transferable skill I would say you need, or I took away.
Definitely. I think that's great. Okay, so can you get kind of specific and give some advice to those viewers, our recent grads who graduated with a degree and they're thinking, I don't know if this is where I want to work. What suggestions do you have for them?
I think that it's completely normal to feel that way. I looked it up because I was curious, and data analyst, a little bit of a nerd. And it looks, from what I found, maybe not even 30% of people actually use their degree in their job. So it's it's pretty normal for you to experience this, like, oh my gosh, I spent all this time, all this money, and I don't know if I like this. And it's kind of fine. I would just say give yourself the time and the patience and the grace just to be able to sit back and think about what does make me happy. Why didn't this other situation make me happy? And what can I do going forward to change that? So for me, I mean, it was I graduated, I did have a job in the equine industry. And throughout a few like moves, I relocated to Cincinnati. I just kept finding, even though I changed my situation a little bit, I still just wasn't quite right. And that's fine. And so eventually I went back to school and found my way again, just to change. So I think it's just important to give yourself that time and that acceptance that, okay, maybe this isn't exactly it, but there's things that I'm learning, and then there's things that I can work towards.
Definitely. I think that's really great advice. Like some of the things that I pulled out of that is, one, it's normal. So definitely normalizing like this after graduation freak out moment is completely normal, and it definitely is. I've been working with a lot of our recent grads lately as they are in those moments of either, well, I thought this was what I wanted to do and now I'm not sure, or I thought this is what I want to do, but now there's no jobs in that area. What am I going to do?
Right.
I think you did a really great job of, even if when you were thinking this isn't the place, you were still looking for skills that you could pull out of it. And you were still looking like for things that you could learn out of it. And so I think that's I think that's a huge thing that some people skip over when they're in a job that they know is a dead end job, or they're at a job where they're, not really that happy, or they're not going to be there very long. They check out on all of those things that they could be learning during that time that could be so helpful as they transition to that next thing.
Right.
And also the third thing I kind of heard from what you're saying is almost like there's seasons in the career field. Like there was some times that this is what I was doing and it was great and this is what I loved, and then something changed, life circumstances, personal preferences, or learning about this new industry that you didn't know existed before. It's like, okay, well now that's, where my interests lie. Because it sounds like you, even with the company you're with now, you kind of transitioned roles while you were there.
Yeah. And that was, it was really fortunate that I have managers and bosses that recognize like, hey, I see these skills in you also. Is this something you're interested in? And sometimes you start in a role and you're like, this is good, I like this. And then somebody else sees something in you and they're like, what about this? Do you like this? And it turns out I like it better. Like I didn't apply for my position technically, and I probably wouldn't have been considered if I had applied outside of that, like if I wasn't with the company already. So, being in the right place at the right time, just always showing up for your job, even if it's maybe not the best fit, maybe there could be something else in the organization that somebody sees it in you and they just kind of help bring you in. So there's always an opportunity to change, where you're going if you really want to.
Yeah. I like what you said about like you were seen there at the job, like, and even if it, and I think that's good advice for everyone else is, even if the place that you're at is not where you want to be, show up every day and showing those skills, because you got seen and put into a position that you didn't apply for because somebody else saw your work ethic and your drive and your interests and your skills. So I think that's really awesome. Awesome. All right.
Very, very happy. Fortunate.
You're very happy.
Yeah.
Good. That's awesome. So what, I think we can wrap it up real quick because we want to keep this a short video for everybody. Do you have any last pieces of advice that you've got for these recent grads? You started college in a recession. These ones are graduating college in a recession.
I know. I'd say it's tough. It's really, really tough. I think are we speaking specifically to equine students at this moment, or
any of them?
Well, yeah. I think Equine students, probably if you're willing to move around, you know, you're probably gonna have a better chance at finding a spot that you really like. But I would say just don't get discouraged, even if you have to take like your crummy, like, you know, a job that's not your ideal situation right now just to get by, start paying back those student loans. It's fine, you know, just keep trying to learn from it, and even take the initiative to learn yourself on your own, you know, read books, you know, develop skills that your job isn't helping you develop on your own. You know, I mean, yeah, I would just say just keep trying. Don't let it wear you down. So, I mean, I spent 5 or 6 years post, you know, Midway trying to figure out what the heck I was going to do. Why wasn't I feeling happy? And you just keep going for it, and you can, you know, get to a spot where you're finally feel like, okay, this is all right. Yeah.
So I know this is putting you on the spot, but you've mentioned read some books. Do you have any books in mind that you would recommend?
I just kind of like realize things within myself that I'm lacking and need more work on. Being kind of a data person, I can be very direct and very, you know, it can be a little abrasive to people that are a little more sensitive than I am. And that might be from the horses too, because we can be tough. So right now I just got a book about developing emotional intelligence. So just working on recognizing the feelings within yourself and the feelings that other people are showing, and trying to figure out how to manage those so that everybody can end up, you know, happy coming out of the situation. So if you recognize a weakness, just don't be afraid to go on Amazon and get yourself, you know, a book. Like, it's super easy to get information now.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a really great suggestion. And it takes students and grads that step of taking the time to get to know yourself, which I think is so vitally important. So I can't, you know, let the moment pass without letting all of our viewers know that if we have any students or recent grads who are trying to figure out that career path, that our office, the Career Service Office, is a free resource. So for every Eagle and every Eagle grad, they can always come back here to Midway and they can get some career coaching and help go through the process of knowing ourselves, you know, getting some assessments to know themselves and to start exploring different options and make some plans, and then actually, you know, help relaunching. Those are all free services that we offer here. So it sounds like you're in a great place, but just in case you ever need it, we are here to help support all of our students and all of our alumni. Very excited that we're able to offer that for everybody, because that's not something that you get everywhere. So I want to thank you for your time today. I greatly appreciate you. I greatly appreciate your willingness to step out and to support our grads. One of the things that you mentioned whenever we were communicating back and forth is that you're open to connections on LinkedIn. And so if any of you all would like to connect with Brittany, you can do so via LinkedIn, and I'll try and put a link to your bio in this video for everyone to use. So thank you again for your time today. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope it was helpful and meaningful. And if you need any support, please reach out to us at Midway University. Thank you.
Thanks.